Welcome back to the She Does This podcast. I'm Geordie Lucas and I'm so excited to have you back for part 2 of our interview with the wonderful Laura Henshaw from Keep It Cleaner. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I'll leave the link for you in our show notes. Now, we received so many questions from our listeners for Laura, so let's jump straight into it and also keep an ear out at the end of the episode for the code word you need to access the Kick program for a month. We start off by asking Laura what the future goals are for Keep It Cleaner.
So we have actually, it's really exciting. We've just brought our tech team in-house, which has been a very exciting journey, but also, I mean, it's something that we did outsource our tech to another company. And so while we were across it, we weren't as across it as we are now. So it's been a big learning experience, and we've got an amazing team, which the last person is actually, we've got a few more to hire, but the starting team is nearly, the next person starts in a few weeks, which is so exciting. Yeah. But that's been a really exciting experience, and we'll just be able to do so much more now that we have got that team, because we are a tech business, but we didn't have our tech. Yeah. We didn't have a tech team. So now it's really exciting that we have that, and we had an amazing experience with the tech company that we worked with, but it was just time, I think, for us from a business point of view to kind of take that step and bring it in-house and work through. So there's a lot of things in the works. Obviously, everything that we do kind of has to be worked into the app. So everything takes time, which is development takes a lot of time, and you have to do it right. You can't muck it up, obviously. And sometimes it can be really like, why does it take so long? But it is that's just what it takes. So there's a lot of things coming very soon. I know, I'm so sorry. I know everyone always says, oh my God, exciting things coming. But the team is working on some really exciting updates in the app. And just the thing with Kick, our goal is just to, offer as much value as we can to our, I truly believe that we offer the most value out of any app. Fitness app or health app, because there's just so much in there, and we just want to keep adding more and more value, and making, as I said before, everyone's health journey is so different, but we want every single person to feel empowered and have all the resources that they need to make sure that it's just a bit easier for them, because I think we can all make healthier choices. But if you, for example, if you've got chocolate in the fridge, or if you've got cut up watermelon, if there's chocolate, you're not going to be like, I'm going to go down and buy something healthy from the shops and cut it up. No way, you just take the chocolate. But, if you've got something prepared there, then it's so much easier, and we kind of take that approach with Keep. We just want to give everyone as much resources as we can. So that's kind of what we're always working on, just adding more and more value, and then there's some exciting other things as well. Yes.
What are your top tips for studying, and do you create an action plan?
So my top question I ever get on through my Instagram is studying questions, which I love. I was saying to Steph, I love answering it, but I was like, now I'm not a student anymore. Will people still ask me? I hope they do. So I think my biggest tip would be, you have to work out what type of studier you are. I had to revise things a lot of time, and also blocking out your time. I think now we have phones, we have Facebook, Instagram, there's so many things that distract us. If I had a day to study and I didn't block it out in time blocks, I'd probably get 45 minutes of productive study done, because I'm not planning what I'm doing, and I'm not setting myself goals throughout the day. So I would literally, if I was, learning, a concept for law, I would write out, in this hour I want to go over this chapter and learn this, and then in this hour I want to then do the questions for that chapter. I'd write it all out, so then my time was planned. I mean, it's like anything. If you plan your time, you're always going to be more productive and efficient. And so that is really important, and that helps me. And then for me, I found that, especially with studying, understanding is the most important thing. You need to get to a point where you understand the concept, because then you remember it. If you're just doing kind of when you're just trying to memorize things and you don't understand it, it's really hard to apply it. So just making sure that you work out a way for you to get that understanding, and it might mean more hours, but it's worth it when you walk into the exam room.
How many ranges have you got with Jaggad? And how did that partnership come about?
So Jaggad were actually the first company that booked me for me.
Wow.
Which is really awesome. I started working with them maybe 5 or something years ago, but the CEO, Steve, and we're really great friends with Steve and Michelle, the owners now, which has been awesome to kind of establish and have such great friends from that. But he loved that I had a blog, and I was like really, interested in health stuff. And I don't know why they booked me. I remember when I went to my first casting for them, I had my law ball the night before. Like I literally had when your tape from your dress sticks onto the fake tan, and then all these it was just I was just very tired, and I'm not often hungover, but I was hungover. I don't even know why I went, because I was like, I just looked dead. But anyway, they ended up booking me, and then I've since done, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's just been amazing to see their evolution as well. And I've done 3 ranges with them now, so the most recent one just came out, and it's been awesome just to see. The first range had, I think, 4 pieces, and this one has 16, so it's amazing.
And how involved in the design process?
Really involved. So I think a lot of people think that it actually takes a year.
Oh, wow.
So I'll probably, I think I'm doing another one at home, sorry. It starts so last year when my range came out, I literally each time I start the design process literally a month later. Mm-hmm. And we start with, I'm obviously not a fashion designer, and it's not in anyone's best interest that I am fully in charge of the design process, because you will not like the clothes. So I choose the colours, and then I also look at kind of shapes and designs. Like this year we've got a knit wrap top in the collection, which Jagged's never done before. It's really exciting to do that. It's kind of a bit of a ballet feel. And then things like on tights, I'd love if we could have a drawstring. So we've done that this year, and it was the first time. And then also making sure it performs really well. That's really important to me, because you don't want to buy activewear that falls down, and you want it to feel good in it. It's not see-through and all those things. So I am quite involved, and I work with the designer, and they come back with kind of I come in with all these words and things, and then they come back with something. They're like, okay, we think this is what you were thinking, and then we go from there and work out, okay, let's change just a little bit. Or most of the time they absolutely nail it. They're really good at getting my vision and making it really good.
It would be good for them to have someone that has that functionality, that perspective though, because you are obviously so active yourself. You know what someone is looking for in activewear. Yeah. What was another one we had come through? Do you have any other projects coming up?
Everything at the moment is very Kicks focused, so it's kind of just everything is focused on getting our tech team, and then just working on all the new features coming, and then all the new content.
Cool. Yep. How do you maintain positivity, especially if you've had a setback?
So I think I want to make it very clear, I'm not always positive, and I think a lot of people of course they would assume that from following my social media, but if I'm not feeling good, I won't go on social media, so that's why. And I feel like also I know a lot of people follow me because they find me positive, so I feel like as much as I also find it really important to be like, hang on, I'm actually feeling really bad today, because I don't want anyone to feel like someone's positive 100%, because absolutely not. But I feel like, not that I owe it to them, but I want to show up for them, because that's why they're following me. So I want to show up and be that positive voice for them. But I just feel like it takes so much more energy to be negative than positive. And I think even something as simple as if you're having a bad day and someone smiles at you, you literally feel so much better. And we have so much power as humans to change each other's emotions and bring each other up. If I walk into the office and I'm feeling really crappy and angry, my whole team is gonna feel that energy, and we don't want that. But whereas even if I've got something going on, which we all have things going on, and we all have bad days, but if I walk in and I'm just a tiny bit positive, then I feel like everyone else will be positive, and then we'll all feed off that energy. So that's kind of the way I think about it.
And that's an amazing quality for a leader to have as well.
I think it's important. You have to and you have to, even if you're not feeling it, it's your responsibility to show up and be there.
I think it's really interesting as well that you say that a lot of people follow you for your positivity on social media, and I'm the same. I don't often share dirty laundry or anything like that on social media. I feel like there's nothing wrong with your social media being a highlight reel.
I
just feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
I think everyone is different. So I'll still share embarrassing things, whatever, fine. But I also find that when I'm going through something, if I'm having a really bad panic attack, or I'm feeling really anxious, I often can't actually share in that moment, because I can't process my own thoughts, let alone share them with others. And I also feel like sometimes if I can process it and put something down, fine, but if I'm not, sometimes for me, I'm not always being responsible if I'm putting something out there before I've processed it, because obviously there's a lot of people that follow me, and I'm really obviously conscious of not influencing them in a negative way. But I do find it is important, especially because I think it depends on what your page is, and what people's pages are. Some fashion, people that are fashion bloggers and things, it would be pretty random for them to, be like, share more real things, because that's not why people are there. But I know I've always shared everything from the start, or I've tried to. So I kind of continue doing that.
Yeah. How do you deal with injuries if you're not able to exercise?
So that is one of the hardest things, and the worst thing is you just have to rest.
Yeah.
And I think what I often, I've been really lucky, I haven't had that many injuries, but when I do, you feel like everything you've worked, like all your fitness you've worked towards has just gone away. Yes, it does go away for a little bit, but you can build it back, and it doesn't go away forever. All of our muscles have muscle memory, so once you get back into it, you get back into it, and it will come back really, really quickly. And I think it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, it is what it is. You have to rest, but if you don't, you have to think about, and I've done this before, like I've pushed through an injury and then I've made my recovery time 10 times as long because I haven't rested. So rest is so important. You can still be healthy, you can still make healthy choices, like eat well as you can. Obviously you need to have balance. If you can walk, but you might not be able to do jumping. Like I've got shin splits, so I haven't got them for ages actually, because I've been stretching and stuff. Yeah. But that's something as a runner I get quite often. I know a lot of people get them, but the more you keep running, the worse they get. So the way I've been able to stop myself from getting them is I rest. Yeah. And it's just one of those things. It sucks, but it does pass, and your fitness will come back. So just focus on that. Yeah.
Okay. Another one was, do you always incorporate cardio?
I love running because it's literally my form of meditation. Like I absolutely love it, and I find that I am more energized. Like for example, Steph, she would probably prefer a really hard strength workout and Pilates than doing a HIIT session. I prefer HIIT because I'm like, I love that feeling. I hate the feeling of slow burn, aka Pilates and strength. Yeah. However, they are so important, so I force myself to do them, and I can only, on the app we have the master classes where it's like the trainer and it's the full class, so you feel like you're doing class. That's the only way I do really strength or Pilates, because I need to follow with someone telling me what to do. Otherwise, I'll just stop because I'm like, I hate this feeling. It's slow burning. So I mix it up. But I do find I gravitate more towards high intensity things, just because I really, really love doing that, and I've always loved doing that. But I do balance it. Yeah.
Now, this one came through a lot, and I struggle with this question because I feel like it's only ever asked to women and not men.
Yes.
But quite a few people wanted to know if there were kids on the horizon, baby Laura's and
So, thank you for asking a question like that. We haven't tried, so I don't know how fertile I am, but I do have a lot of friends that have really struggled, and I think it is important if you are asking women about that to be careful with it, because I think it's something that people ask, they don't mean it, but like if someone's been trying for a long time, it is such a. The thing with pregnancy, it's like people can fall pregnant accidentally, and I think because we grow up trying not to get pregnant, literally from whenever school tells you learn do sex ed to when you start wanting to have a family, if you do, you're literally just trying to avoid it the whole time. So then when you start trying, it doesn't happen. It can be really confronting. And I think it's really, really hard, and not many people speak about how hard it can actually be. But we haven't tried, and we are definitely on the horizon, but not very soon, not like super soon. Yeah. Steph's having a baby, that's really exciting.
You can
and
be
so
Auntie
I'll kind
Laura.
of have a baby anyway. We're still, at the moment, I'm definitely not, just with everything going on. Yeah. Not right now. Yeah. That is the answer,
So let's finish off. If you could give yourself, your younger self, one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think it would just be to be more confident in who I am. And I think Steph's helped me so much with my confidence, and our key community has helped me so much. I'm so grateful. But I think back then, I thought so many things mattered. And they didn't, like, for example, what car your parents drove, or what clothes you owned, and all those things that I think growing up we put so much, I don't know why, but it's like in high school sometimes, like, the wealth of your family or whatever actually kind of depicts like what group you're in, which just doesn't make any sense at all. In the real world it doesn't matter. Like, there's so many other things that matter. Like, what we look like is not the most important thing. Like, what's inside, that's what is important. And that's probably what I would tell my younger self.
Laura, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been amazing having a real life chat.
Thank you so much.
And I'm really excited to see what Kick does in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the She Does This podcast. And if you would like to try the Keep It Cleaner program, you can use our code SheDoesKick for a free 1-month trial. As always, if you've loved this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend that you've listened to us, and I will speak to you next week.